So we're starting with this Henry Moore sculpture in front of the AGO, the Art Gallery of Ontario. Henry Moore is kind of like the king of public art, at least in Toronto. Large scale, very resilient, heavy, abstract, the degree to which it becomes something that you can climb on and over and through and sit on. I'm guessing that that wasn't the intention. I think probably later public artists realized that this interactivity is an element of it. My guess is still that Moore's generation was looking at more of a sculpture, and that it still retained the kind of hands-off respect that a sculpture would receive in a gallery. The openness of a sculpture, the flowing forms, the biomorphicness of it is part of its meeting the rush of the city, the movement around it on a kind of middle ground. Things End by James Carl provides an interesting update on the kind of biomorphic forms that Henry Moore was getting at with his sculpture. The inspiration for his form is something in the real world, the discarded elastic band. It's outside the Toronto International Film Festival Lightbox, and so in the looping forms of the elastic band you also get a reference to the kind of looping of film and the medium that this building is dedicated to. This is a work by Daniel Borins and Jennifer Morman called Speech Bubble, and it interestingly riffs on both the kind of modernist background of the sculptures that we've been looking at, but also the signage and the architecture of imagery that's here in the city. They're using a pixel board, but instead of having advertising on it, they have a graphic history of visual abstract art animated. So it ties both art history in with advertising history and manages to place it in a public space, almost insert it in its home, but at the same time open it up to the experience of art.
Quite a lineup for ice cream.
Must be good ice cream. So with this piece by Edwina, Pillars of Justice, you get the monumentality, you get the resilience, you get the kind of simplified biomorphic forms, some of these literally biomorphic, but you also get an interactive element, which is rare in these types of work, particularly when they look like this. A 12-person jury is what's expected here at the Ontario courthouse, but there's one figure missing. So the public gets to insert themselves within the sculpture and in a sense become part of it. That literal engagement allows a kind of greater contemplation. Inserting yourself in there, you feel the intention. The danger with public art is that it recedes into the background, that it becomes just another thing that you walk past. So this piece actually invites the public right into the piece, and it's an essential part of it. The public completes the piece. So this piece by Julian, Opie, is one of my favorite public art pieces in Toronto. What's often missing in these public pieces are the people that surround it, and here it acts as a mirror to turn the gaze back on the viewer. Perhaps ironically, it captures the distraction of the public as it moves through the city, not even pausing, just like the figures in the animation, not even pausing to look or to reflect, but always moving, always on the go. So what distinguishes the artworks that we've looked at is that they do provide a moment for pausing and allow for moments of contemplation.